Hi, you're wondering what the meta is in Soccer Frontier. It's the Mana Core. You're welcome. Like and subscribe. Thanks. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been hearing lately about what the meta is, and it's the Mana Core, but that's not what I want to talk to you guys about today. I want to talk about what are the items that are being slept on. Well, we're going to go over those today because I feel like they're very underrated, and I'm going to go over the reasons why I feel like they're underrated, and they could potentially be the metas going forward, as all metas do when it comes with games and patches. Starting off with the gas grenade. Now, this little stinky grenade can do wonders for you in a raid, not only for offensive, but also in a defensive standpoint. If you time it right, you can get some really good kills with it, because you're not going to be able to sit in the gas cloud and heal all the way through it with, say, stim packs or something. And if you do sit in it, it's going to take away your damage really quickly in a matter of seconds. It's something that I feel like a lot of people feel that they don't want to bring because it's not instantaneous damage, but it's one of those situations where you shouldn't overlook it, because not only from an offensive standpoint, you can also use it defensively. You can use it for zone control. If you're in a tight spot and your enemy team is trying to push you and they're going to go full on W key at you, you can use this to block off, say, an entrance point that would be your flank and protect you for a little bit, or a spot that they'd have to get around to get LOS on you to be able to take shots at you. Meaning that if you threw these, you create that zone control, that fart cloud wall that basically is just going to stop players from wanting to run through it, especially if you, say, throw a couple. At the least, it's going to make the enemy players be cautious. So it gives you a little bit of time to be able to continue that engagement or reposition. Zone control can be very important. So give it a shot. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys actually have had some good encounters using the gas grenade, and if you guys like using it. Because me personally, I love it. Following the grenade category, we're going to talk about the smoke grenade, not only for solo play, but also for group play. So in solo play, the only person you can rely on is yourself. You can't rely on your teammates. So it has a little bit more of an impact in solo, especially for the EVAC standpoint. If you time it correctly, you can throw the smoke grenade and it will last up until the ship actually leaves the zone. What's cool about it is it's going to cover a lot of those openings on the ship. So some people might know exactly where they are, but it's a heck of a lot better than making it obvious where people can try and angle where the grenade's got to throw, instead giving them just a wall of smoke and they kind of got to guess, meaning there's a higher chance that it could ricochet off the top, they could miss the throw, and you end up evacing successfully. So in certain scenarios, a smoke grenade, one smoke grenade that is relatively cheap, could have made a difference between life and death. It's also useful in terms of engagements and also using it for, say, distraction. Because let's say you had an engagement in one area and you reposition and your enemy doesn't know where you reposition to. You can throw a smoke grenade if you can do it in a not an obvious way where they can see where you threw it from, and then they could be thinking, oh, he's trying to cover across there, and then you could go the opposite way and get a good angle on them and a good line of sight. Now let's say you don't. You can use it just to be able to push through and give you guys some extra little defense when you want to make that push. It's just one of those situations where it's an obvious grenade that can help you, and I wouldn't sleep on it in certain situations. It could mean the difference between life and death depending on the scenario. Moving on from the grenades, let's talk about a blue assault rifle called the Phasic Lancer. Now, kind of joking about the meta in the start of the video, I actually think the Phasic Lancer will become the meta assault rifle come next patch when they tweak the Mana Core, which I believe they're working on doing. The reason I say this is because the Phasic Lancer is probably the highest TTK in the game, which stands for time to kill. And once you get this down pat, when you couple this assault rifle with really high precision skills, it's going to become such a deadly weapon in your hands. It's basically a laser beam when you're shooting it, because the shots that travel, because it shoots in a 3-round burst, are so fast that it almost just seems like it's basically instant. It really does shoot kind of like a laser beam. The recoil and the handling on it is really nice. You can put a 2x on it and really do some work with it. Me personally, I like putting the hollow on it. However, it's really not that expensive. I know 31k is still kind of a decent amount. It's definitely no 9k like the Mana Core, but for what you're actually getting out of that blue gun, it competes with some purples in my opinion, and may even compete with some exotics. It's definitely a gun I think a lot of experienced players are aware that is really strong, as you will see from some streamers and other people that are really good at this game. You will see them using Phasic Lancers quite a bit, as along with the shatter gun. You know, it's not a combo most of the time. You'll see people just using the Lancer, and there's a reason for it. It can melt some pretty high-end armor relatively quick, so especially if you're hitting those crit spots, because of how fast it can fire. So definitely keep an eye on the Phasic Lancer if you haven't already. Give it a shot. It's really nice. It feels really fun to shoot. It is a little bit unfortunate if you lose it, because it is 31k to be able to buy it. However, that's still no 150 300k. So if you can still have a weapon that's 31k competing with something that's in 6 digits, well, that's a pretty big bang for your buck right there. Going on to our last underrated slept on item is the shotgun slug. Now this is a green attachment that can only be found. You can't create this as of right now at the crafting station, which makes it kind of a little bit of a valuable attachment because you have to be able to find it. Now the shotgun slug makes it to where instead of shooting that spread pattern, you're shooting just that single projectile. And this single projectile has got some really good distance. I've seen people put it in the shatter gun and be able to shoot people from like 40 meters away with it and wrap up a kill when they had like blue armor, which means they probably had to do like 30 damage. Doing that with a shotgun from afar is really nice. I've also seen it be used on the PKR Maelstrom a lot, which seems to be really strong on that one. I haven't tested it like fully across the board, but like I said, I have my friend is using the shatter gun. He said it was okay. He really liked it on the Maelstrom more than anything else, but ultimately it's going to be up to you to test it on the shotguns and see if you find a preference on which one you like to use. However, like my recommendation would be the PKR Maelstrom or maybe the shatter gun, but it's something to keep in mind because if used properly, this is an attachment that can really make a difference when you're using those shotguns, because even close range, if you hit your shots, it's still going to do a lot of damage. We've got season 1 releasing this Wednesday, June 22nd. So I really hope you guys take this video and use some of these underrated items and see for yourself if you really like them. I really think that they are very much so slept on and can be quite the game changer, especially in certain situations. And it might even become things that go higher up involved with the meta as patches change, like I said. But ultimately, that's all I got for you guys until the next video, which will be coming soon. I'm KingRaliant, and don't have a great night, YouTube. Have a shiny night.